So I may have accidentally created the Minecraft world that I've always wanted. I personally feel like every Minecraft base should have a custom built town/city surrounding it. In my experience, this is one of the more effective ways of avoiding burnout on Minecraft, and all it really boils down to is a very small change of perspective. It's about going from simply building a world within Minecraft to using Minecraft as a vehicle for world building. Now, I totally get most people don't have hundreds if not thousands of hours to dedicate to a Minecraft world, and that's totally fine, but if you've played Minecraft for an extended period of time and every world you make looks like this before you get bored and start a new one, I feel like you're missing out on a really crucial aspect of the game, that being world building. When you spend a lot of time on the same landmass, whether that's in real life or in a video game that seeks to simulate real life in that way, you're forced to work with the natural environment to accommodate your most immediate needs. You need to farm livestock, so you gotta build a barn. You need somewhere to store your flowers, so you're gonna have to build a greenhouse. You want to abuse villager trading and thus subjugate an entire people to unpaid indentured servitude for your own capitalist ambitions? Well then, you're gonna have to build trading halls. And by the time you've done all this, you've most likely also built 10 to 20 resource farms as well, so you're almost definitely out of space in the area that you initially set up camp. So what option does that leave you with? Expansion, growth, imperialism. This is not a social or political commentary, I swear. Anyways, you get the point. Like I said, if your perspective on creating in Minecraft is just building stuff in Minecraft, then that's probably why you find yourself getting burnt out on the game. The goal should be to use Minecraft as the ultimate world building simulator. After you've built that base, get a start on the barn, then build that greenhouse to store all your flowers in, then do a build to store a villager breeder and use those villagers to populate other builds. Once you have a nice sized settlement, you can start to broaden your horizons a bit and start planning projects and the associated history and lore in other areas of your world. For example, the rough draft version of the lore for my world goes as such. We're gonna be doing a bit of a sidebar for this. I don't remember how or why I ended up there, but the darkness was overwhelming. The air was thick with humidity, and the heat was unimaginable. I trekked along the lava shore in a lethargic state, my energy constantly being drained by the unbearable temperatures. Finally, I came across a portal. I'd only ever read about them before, and frankly, I thought they were just folklore told to the local children to keep them inside at night. But there was no mistaking it. Unless this is somehow a dream, I must have been stranded in an alternate dimension. I checked my backpack, completely empty. Whoever did this to me must have taken all my stuff and then dumped me here. How truly evil this world has become. As I stared at the portal, a grimace on my face from the cynical reality of my circumstances, my thoughts are interrupted, my stern expression replaced by genuine fear and confusion. Slowly floating out from behind a nearby corner was an all-white creature 10 times the size of me. Its face, so uncanny with almost human-like expressions, became immediately enraged upon seeing me, and somehow shot an explosive projectile directly at me. I managed to dive out of the way with my life, and just like that, the portal ignited with an emissive purple glow, unlike anything I'd ever seen before. This was my chance. If I was going to survive this, I needed to act before that thing decided today was my last day alive. I made a dash for the portal, and yet again, the creature launched a projectile in my direction. Adrenaline coursing through my veins, I sprinted for my life, gripping onto the side of the portal to swing my momentum through it. For a moment, everything went completely quiet. The environment around me disappeared, and time seemed to stop entirely. But before I could even process what had happened, I emerged from the portal, screaming in agony as I clutched onto my leg. I looked down to see a fresh third-degree burn covering my left hamstring, smoke still emanating from my freshly charred skin. I let out a whimper at the sight of my wound before letting my head fall backward to the ground and screaming yet again from the pain in my leg. I quickly entered a state of shock after this and lost consciousness. Fortunately, this wasn't where my story ended though. A few members of a local fishing village were nearby and heard me shouting in the distance. They transported me back to their quaint village, treated my wounds, and helped me return to good health. I became friends with some of the locals and even allied myself with some of the leadership of the village. With no home to really go back to and feeling so welcomed in these lands, I decided to build my own settlement not too far from the fishing village. And the rest is history. When I tell you guys I have so much lore to dump on you over the course of the next couple of videos, I mean I have so much lore to dump on you guys over the course of the next couple of videos. So obviously all of this is subjective, and I'm not making the claim that anyone that doesn't play Minecraft like this is playing it wrong, but I do think utilizing Minecraft in this way really does unlock the game's full potential, at least for me. Boys, I do apologize for the delay in getting this video out. I'm working on improving my editing capabilities at the moment, and I use this video as a bit of a testing ground for that. If you enjoyed, then definitely leave a like, as it's super easy to do and helps my content reach more people, and so I would really appreciate it. Anyways, enjoy the video. Fellas, welcome back to another episode of our Minecraft Let's Play series. My name is Brandu, and today we have got a pretty awesome episode ahead of us. We have got a bunch of farms to build, like a creeper farm as well as an iron farm, so that we can get infinite emeralds at some point throughout this episode. But we pretty much have to build an entire village around our little compound as well that we've decided to call home. We're also going to be taking on a couple of other miscellaneous tasks throughout the video as well, but I also wanted to just point out that I am using a new shader pack. If you don't know, this one is Bliss Shaders. It looks absolutely beautiful. I think the colors and the lighting and the shadows and everything just works so well together and give an absolutely beautiful look. It is relatively intensive, so just keep that in mind. It's a pretty bulky shader pack, but it looks so good. In the very center of the tower that we built in the last episode, I also built a nice little sugarcane farm. Obviously, like I mentioned, one of the farms that we're going to be building in this episode is a creeper farm. And so we're going to need plenty of sugarcane, which we already have a nice little reserve of. If we drop down here and take a look, we already got a couple of stacks waiting for us. So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get on into what we need to get out of the way in this video. And if you guys do enjoy the video at any point, be sure to leave a cheeky like on the video. I would really appreciate it, and it helps a lot. Anyways, we need to get to work. We got a lot to do in this video, and honestly, I've delayed the start of recording it for quite a while now. Oh my goodness, my frames are dying. Oh, sick. I didn't start recording soon enough, but I just got a new crafting recipe. I added in this new mod that adds new types of sticks into the game, so you can make like a pale oak handled diamond sword or netherite sword, which we are absolutely going to be doing. I want to find a bunch of different ways to like sort of customize our world, like our sword and our armor. Our elytra's about to get an upgrade because I got a mod to dye that and actually put designs on it like you would your armor with the trim. Things are about to start feeling a lot more personal here on the channel, and I like it. All right, so speaking of, I made some pale sticks, so let's go over to the crafting table here now that we got our diamonds. See, that's so cool, dude. That is awesome. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put these together just like so. Wait, I have to fully re-enchant it? We got some grinding to do, some gambling at the enchantment table. For now, let's go ahead and make an objective board so that we can actually get a concise idea of what we're going to be doing in this video. So where do I want to build this objective board? Perhaps right over here by our happy gas docking station. Yeah, actually right here might work really nicely for this. All right, let's get some dirt out of here for now. We'll fix this up a little bit later on. All right, now we have a little bit more room to work with. We're going to move everything over just a little bit. So there, put all these guys here. Oh yes, now that I'm actually crouch walking, I'll let you guys know as well. I do have the recording, so I'll edit it into the videos, just so you guys know I'm not cheating or anything like that. But I did go and raid my first ancient city. Alrighty, so dark oak and black text didn't work out the best. We may need to workshop this little idea that we came up with here. It looks cool and all, but anyways, you guys can see the little goal board that we have here. First things we're gonna do is take care of the iron farm. Then we're gonna make a creeper farm, and we're gonna make both those farms around this base. After that, we're gonna be going to the nether and getting ourselves some netherite because we have been walking around like a peasant for just way too long in this world. That being said, I think my armor looks really cool, not gonna lie. But I want to go to the nether and get netherite because I've never actually had netherite gear before. And we have, I think, 2 pieces of nether scrap waiting upstairs already. All right, so I added to the gold board design, and I actually really like that. I think I'm gonna end up copy pasting that in around this village that we end up building, which, spoiler alert, is what the main objective of this video is going to be, actually. Typically, we would designate an entire episode to something like the barn house build, or like we did in the last video, we dedicate an entire episode to a massive tower like this. But I think in this video, we have a little bit of work to do in terms of making this feel a bit more like a village. So I think we're going to come up with some unique village house designs and put them in around over here. And we're also going to put them over here because we actually have a really nice path coming along here. And I want to have a reason to sort of extend that around the rest of this area that we call home. So instead of dedicating this episode to a mega project or something of that nature, we're just going to make a bunch of village houses all around our base. And by the end of this episode, it should look like a little city, actually. Alrighty, so I made it to my world spawn. I marked on the beach exactly where we spawned in this world, and as a matter of fact, we're not even that far from our base, only about 500 or 600 blocks. So I'm gonna need to flatten this beach out a little bit just to have a small area to work with, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, and then we will go ahead and finally get this iron farm built up. I've never actually built an iron farm at all. Like I said in the last episode, whole lot of firsts happening in this series. Okay, so because I have a massive brain, I had to come back to the base and actually, that's not the right shulker. I had to come back to the base and get all the materials that we're gonna need to make the iron farm, so now that I have that, we can go ahead and head back to spawn. And we are back at the area that we're going to be building the iron farm, and we got all the materials that we're going to need. So let me go ahead and actually finally get started on this. All right, so if we just look over to the left just a little bit here, or right, I don't know which way. It's inverted for me right now. But yeah, we have got to start on the iron farm. So now we just got to go get some villagers, bring them down this temporary staircase that I made to bring them into their little forever home over there. And then we got to get a zombie in these trapdoors as well, which should be easy enough. And yeah, I probably should have built this way sooner than I did. But without any further delays, let's go ahead and head back to the base and get these villagers that we need. Shouldn't have... Come on, go in the boat. Go in the boat. What are we doing? What are we doing? Get in the boat. 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 You're going to run away any second. Get in the boat. Why? Why does this game... Oh my goodness. Are you serious right now? Why? I am genuinely irritated right now. Like, it's not even a joke. I'm not even acting anymore. This isn't for the video. I'm actually mad. Get in the boat. Get in the boat. All right. That is enough of that. Now I gotta get the other boat prepared. All right, let's calm down a little bit. There's one thing I know that we can all come to a collective consensus on. It's that these guys suck. Yeah, look at me right as I say it. That's... I love fresh animations. Alrighty, and now that we're back here, we can go ahead and hop off Fry here. We can snip our villagers off of the bottom here. And this is actually perfect timing. We need to get them in here really quickly so that we can actually bring a zombie in here as well. So we're going to bring them down this temporary staircase that we made. Get them down on in here where we need them. Are we gonna... Okay, really? Really? We're not gonna have enough space? Okay, dude, I need this to be quick, kind of. This is so frustrating. Okay, this works. Here we go. Okay. Now we can bring the other one in too. Come on in, buddy. Gotta join the others. Sorry to tell ya. I'm trying to work with you. You're not working with me, I don't think, is what's going on, okay? No, that's not... Come on. I'm gonna get very angry soon here, game. All right, there's our zombie. Come on, let's get you to your new forever home too. Am I gonna have to name him? It's okay, I have a name tag back at the base I can go grab if we need to. You're gonna come all right in. Thank you, sir. Perfect. All right, now that we have the zombie down there, I think he's in the boat. Yes, he is in the boat. Perfection. I think I am actually gonna go grab a name tag for him really quickly because that's how I've usually seen this design done. I want to make sure our zombie guy doesn't disappear, so let's head on back to the base. I just got randomly jumped by an enderman that I swear I didn't look at, but yeah, gotta put my elytra on. Let's get out of here. The video that I watched didn't tell me to necessarily put a name tag on him, but I'm going to anyways, just to make sure that this stays fully functional no matter what. Now all we have left to do is head over to this village and grab 5 tamed cats so that we can maximize our cat spawns from these villagers. Oh yeah, that's so much fun. I love when the elytra lets you do that. Oh, we already got a golem spawn too. Let's go, dude. That is satisfying. All right, let's start breeding these guys up. This will take about 20 minutes to do that. I gotta also make that... What just happened? What is this cat doing? Get up here. I gotta hurry up. What? Dude, stop. Okay, let's start. Oh my goodness. I swear to God, this game is going to drive me insane. This is such a basic iron farm too. Imagine when we start doing like big redstone builds and stuff like that, because that is going to eventually come and I may very well not live through it. Take that off of you. Take that off of you. You are both gonna eat and then I'll bring you up. You can make kitties. Make more kitties. Aww. Look at that one. That looks like my kitty in real life. Aww. Alrighty, I will see you guys in about 15 minutes when I have all these cats made up. Alright, now that we got all 5 cats spread up in there, there's a problem that we need to solve, and that's that the iron golems are spawning not in the killing chamber. And I really hate it when people make tutorials that don't work. Why make the freaking tutorial, buddy? So we're basically just gonna have to go back to the base and put a bunch of slabs around here, anywhere that the villagers might spawn an iron golem, and basically make this the only area that they're able to spawn him. I'm kind of annoyed right now. As basic as this is, I probably would have just been better off recreating somebody else's like cool looking iron farm. This is really starting to annoy me. Alrighty, so I think I got this thing running nice and efficiently now. I actually just had 2 iron golems spawns in a matter of like 15 seconds, and I also built a little area for us to access all of the iron that we're gonna end up getting here. Of course, I had to slab it up. This design was really annoying to get working. You can actually see over here I have this weird little mound of slabs. That's because for some reason the iron golem keeps spawning in the slabs right here, so I figured if I did this, he'll suffocate every time he spawns here. But yeah, it's literally just right there for some reason. There's nothing underneath the slabs. Like, there's no void space. It's all filled with sand. I don't know if doing this somewhere where there's sand messed it up or what, but this has frustrated me, dude. And I don't know if I have Minecraft in me for the rest of the day, but that's okay. Won't affect you guys. Won't affect the video. You'll just see tomorrow when I'm not angry anymore. But yeah, literally just like that, 10 seconds, 15 seconds later, we got another iron golem. So I think we did everything right down there. I had to tweak things around a little bit down there. But yeah, I think we have this set up really efficiently now. And if we run back to the base and actually head a little ways away from this will continue running even when we're not here. So for now, I'm gonna get back to the base, and then we need to get a start on this creeper farm because that took me way too long. I mean, literally, dude, that farm took me like 5 or 6 hours to build. Not gonna lie, probably could have done a lot of other things with that time, but you know what? It is what it is. First iron farm ever. So I guess maybe it's supposed to be a struggle like that for the first time. I don't know, dude, but we need to get a creeper farm done. Let's get back to the base. All right, now that I'm back at the base, it's time to build this creeper farm. Hopefully, it's not as complicated for me as the iron farm was. And yes, just to confirm, it is in fact another day as of me recording this part of the video. I did need a bit of a break. So anyways, hopefully the creeper farm goes off without a hitch. And I'm thinking what we're going to do with the creeper farm is we're going to figure out exactly where we want to build it based on where I want one of the village houses to be. That way we could just build a house around the entire farm because you don't need that much space for, actually, maybe we'll even do it right over here. You don't need that much space for the creeper farm design that I decided to go with. You just need to be able to go 120 blocks in the sky once you get it built up. So anyways, let me get to work on this farm. I just need more rockets because I have a grand total of 2 rockets left. 1 now. All right, the only thing I have left to grab for all the materials that I will need to build this creeper farm is a lead. So let's go ahead and do that right now. And as per usual, we got a bunch of leads waiting for us in the Happy Gas docking station as always. So slap that shulker down, put the lead in there. And now let's go figure out where we're going to build this creeper farm. Yeah, after going back and forth a couple of times, I think I decided on building it up here. So there's a lot more room over here. There's more than enough flat ground. I know that for a fact based on the design I'll be using. So this is where we're going to build the creeper farm. I will see you guys once we have that put up.
In the middle, I place carpets like this to prevent spiders from spawning in the farm.
Oh yeah, let's go. And another. And another. And another. Oh, they're getting weaker now. There we go. Nice bunny hop. All right, let's see if we can't hit a sick bunny hop on the way back. Okay, 1, 2. Oh, that was not good. There we go. That one was all right. Go straight down and then straight back up. Nice bunny hop. Bam. Oh, okay. We ended it.
Now position a tamed cat on both sides of the farm.
Oh my God, we need more cats. Are you serious right now, dude?
Water and
Why? All right, so that was an extremely time-consuming side task, but we got 2 cats now, so let's go put those in the creeper farm. There is nothing in the game that I hate more than happy ghasts. Like, why even add them to the game if they are going to move this slow? It's ridiculous, dude. We're gonna bring one over to the far side over here. The way they sort of like butt scoot with fresh animations on, it's adorable. Oh wait, before I do, what the fuck? It just literally randomly jumped me. You guys saw that, right? Like, there's literally no way. I just looked at that enderman.
Place the hoppers going into the chest with glass above it, and last.
Glass above the chest? Are you sure? Are you sure about that? Oh, okay, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could put glass over a chest and then still open the chest. Very good to know, dude. Okay, good to know. And now this farm is actually pretty much done. I didn't think of that, but yeah, it's pretty much done. All we have to do is scaffold up 120 blocks, and we should have creepers spawning and automatically dying and giving us their gunpowder drops. So let's go test that out and see if it works. As you can see, we are literally right near the edge of our little mountain that we decided to build this creeper farm on, and where we're gonna build the house around it. So we're gonna have to do something about that in the future. But for now, we should have a fully functioning creeper farm. Let's test it out, dude. So we need to build up 120 blocks and then build a little bit of a platform to hang out at while our creepers spawn. And from what I understand about this farm, the way that it works is that when you go 120 blocks up, you're basically consolidating all of your mob spawns to just the chunk that you're in, because no matter what Y level you're at in a chunk, that whole chunk is constantly loaded. But if you're 120 blocks up, then that basically makes it so that no mobs can spawn outside of that chunk. So let's build up with the scaffolding and see if we actually did this right. Let's check it out, dude. We're about to have infinite rockets. I'm so excited. Okay, so I guess when we get to the top of this, we're gonna build a platform and then a little itty bitty glass shack and put a door on it. I don't understand why we're gonna do that, but let's get to it, I guess. Oh my goodness, this is really high up. I have a genuine fear of heights in real life. I don't like this. Oh my God, I don't like this. Glass shack, just like so. And then put a door on it, and I will see you guys in 5 or 10 minutes, and we'll see if we have gunpowder stacking up down there. All right, so after checking some of the comments, I noticed that there may be a flaw with this design, but it's very minor and very easy to fix. But as soon as the sun starts to rise, we'll go down and check. And with that being said, it is actually day 936 in this world. We are coming up very, very quickly on day 1000, and I think that's a really cool first to have in this series. There's been a whole lot of things that I've done for the first time in this series so far, but I think reaching day 1000 for the first time in a Minecraft world is probably one of the coolest things we've done yet. All right, so things got a little hairy, but I did come down and check our design, and it wasn't working. I'm not entirely sure why. I'm trying to figure it out really quickly here, but I also needed to drop these hoppers down by 1 block, and we're also going to head back to the base really quickly to get some soul campfires to put on top of those as well. I really don't know what the problem could have been, because yeah, it's completely empty. I was up there for about a day of in-game time, and that should have been plenty, so let's just make this fix really quickly and see if there's anything else we can do. All right, so let's just put these soul campfires on top of these hoppers, and I'm gonna go around and get inside of this little creeper farm here as well, and just see if there's anything we might have done wrong. I don't think there is. Let me close this back up, and I think the problem may be that I built way too far up with the scaffolding then, or well, not way too far up, but like 5 or 10 blocks too far up. So I guess let's try and bring this down 8 blocks and give it another day or 2 of in-game time and see if that fixes everything. All right, so yeah, I built up with 2 entire stacks of scaffolding, and it only needed to be 120. I did the math, and 128 is a number that's divisible by 16, so we're probably like just out of the chunk radius for the creepers to be spawning, so that's probably the fix we need to make. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, okay, I just need to remember to leave 8 in my inventory. So we're 120 up now. Now we'll try and build out. Okay, yeah, I think that might be right now. All right, so for now we got this very basic dirt hut that we're gonna use, but we will decorate it by the end of the episode because we love to decorate our mob spawners. I don't know if you guys have seen the skeleton spawner that we built on stream a week or 2 ago, but that's one of my favorite builds that we've actually done in this world so far. So we'll try and do something that compares a little bit to that build. And now we're on day 940 in this world. I've been up in this little glass case for about 2 days of in-game time here, because at this point I'm pretty sure the farm is working correctly. So let's go ahead and head on down and just see if it is. So I turned it into a little bit of a bunker. We're not going to keep it like this, but I just figured I'd make it look cool for now until we actually do something with it. But this is what we're looking at. Let's see. Wow, that is extremely efficient. Oh my goodness, dude. Already 3 stacks. What is that? Is that more than a stack per day? That's crazy. Like I said, link to this one will be down in the description as well. If you guys want an infinite gunpowder farm in your world, this one is solid. It took me probably 20 minutes to put together as well, minus the time it took me to get the cats, but all in all, it probably took me less than an hour to make. That's honestly crazy. If there is a quote must-have farm for any Minecraft world, this is the one, dude. Absolutely. Dang, dude, this area looks crazy at nighttime if I turn my chunk render distance up. Obviously, I usually have that turned down when I'm recording, but man, looks super cool from up here. That path is looking so good, dude. And that's exactly why we're going to be building a village all in here and a little bit over here as well in this video, because I love making paths, but I only have a reason to have this path so far. And now that we got this all sorted out, I don't actually have a spare shulker to put all my rockets in that I end up crafting, so we got to make a quick detour and actually go raid a couple end cities. So let's go do that really quickly. Grab all this gunpowder that we've waited up for so far. Go make as many rockets as we can. Dude, that is so many rockets that we can craft up just with what we've gotten so far. Holy crap. Oh my goodness. Let's go. We're never gonna need for rockets ever again. We could just, you know, have a little bit of fun if we want to. Okay, that was a little unnecessary. All right, so I got 1 spare shulker, as well as I'm gonna dump these chests all out of this shulker. So we got 2 spare shulkers, and now I also got this pale oak diamond sword that we made at the start of the video fully enchanted up as well. If this isn't a god sword, it is pretty dang close, so I'd say it's about time for us to go to the end, because these 2 shulker boxes are literally all I'm working with at the moment. So let's go get more of these. Bro, look at that end portal with the lighting in here from the lava, bliss shaders, and then the Nautilus 3D mod. Oh my goodness, this room looks crazy. Whoa. Once again, the end looks crazy with bliss shaders on, dude. Okay, are you how does that always happen to me? Wow, dude, the end looks unreal with bliss shaders on. But I have 1 more shader pack that I want to take a look at while we're in the end, so let's do that really quickly. Bro. Whoa, what? This is crazy. This is unbelievable. And my armor trim with this shader on too. Looks so good. In case you don't know, Solar shader is the one I was using for this effect in the end here. This looks just crazy though, dude. Plus the way the blocks all sort of look 3D is unreal with these shaders. Oh my goodness. I love shaders, bro. Even the obsidian looks like 3D. How am I able to run these shaders? This is unbelievable. I think you can change the settings though. Let's see real quick. Bro, are you Are you having fun? Like, yeah, dude, this shader is on another level. I don't know how I'm getting like 60 FPS with it too. That is crazy to me. Anyways, we've marveled at these visuals long enough. Let's go ahead and just get to where we need to go here and get some more shulker boxes. Wow, dude, look at this. This is crazy, man. There we go. We found one, but it's super small. Aw, really? No ship either. That's okay. There we go. There's one shulker, and I will just cut to a quick time lapse of me getting a bunch of these. Hey, what are you doing, sir? You don't get to just teleport away like that. All right. And there's another shulker box. That's right. Get steak punched. Ah, yeah. End rods, dude. Give me all of these. Thank you. This was the smallest end city I think I may have ever seen. That's unfortunate, dude. Hey, there's one with an end ship. Perfect, dude. Let's go. That one only took me like 2 minutes to find. And it's way bigger. Okay, this might have been worth it in the end. Okay. That is so many end rods. Let's go. Oh, okay. We're already getting aggroed on. Okay, nice. End rod, end rod, end rod, end rod. Hit me. Do it. I want up there. All right, all right, all right. That's it. That's enough. That's enough. Chill out. What? Oh, that would have been sick. Stop. Game. Game. Stop. Okay, well, we got an ender chest now. Coolio. I don't know why I didn't think to make one of those before now. Oh my god, game. The last one was the smallest end city I've ever seen. This one may very well be the biggest one I've ever seen. My goodness, dude. All right, let's just go right on over to this ship here and just see if we can get a spare elytra really quickly. Okay, let's make our way down here, see if there is. And amazing, dude. Perfect. Let's grab this guy. And you are mine. Thank you. No. Whoa. Easy there, buddy. Really? Yeah, you're a good sport. You're a good sport. Getting irritating. Why can they just go on top like that? That's so stupid. So many end rods. Can't stop addicted to the... This life is more than just a read-through. That was sick. Of course he didn't die. Garbage. Garbage, garbage game. And there goes the shulker. Garbage, garbage, garbage game, bro. Oh my goodness, dude. One rocket left and I find an end city. Thank goodness. What the heck is this end city, though? This is a big staircase for an end city. I've never seen that before. All right. Wow, that was really lucky. I was almost in a bad spot there. It's not often I get rooms like this when I'm in the end. Fire protection 3. Okay, thanks, game. Oh, a couple diamonds at least. I'll take that. All right, so I got 25 shulkers and no more rockets, so I guess that's time to call it. Let's go ahead and find a portal and get back out of here. All right, so this is what our haul looks like. We got 2 stacks of end rods. I think that's all we got. Yeah, 2 elytras, 2 dragon heads, couple diamonds, couple iron ingots, and that's all we really went for. Oh yeah, plus the 25 shulker shells. So let's go make those all into shulker boxes right this second. All right, so I'm gonna use one of these chests as a shulker chest. I think it's gonna be this one. All right, so we can put all these in there. I'll empty the rest of this stuff out of here later. You know, I say that, but I probably will never empty any of these chests out ever. Oh yeah, and we got 2 ender chests as well, so we can probably just put one of those down right over here somewhere. Yeah, I guess we could put that there for now. I don't really know where else to put it in here, I'm not gonna lie. And if I had to say so, I would say that was a success. All right, now that we got all that taken care of, it's time to start planning this village build, because this is actually one of the reasons we went to go get all these shulker boxes, is because one of the first steps to actually starting on this village is getting a bunch of different materials. I am pretty much out of all the wood that I harvested to get us to this point in this world, so I basically have no resource reserves at the moment. So I'm basically gonna have to get a full shulker of pretty much every material type that we're gonna need, because we're gonna need a lot of all of those different resources. We're gonna need all the different log types. We're gonna need deep slate and blackstone and tough and everything like that. And yeah, this is probably gonna be the most resource gathering I've ever had to do for a video. So let's just get started, because this is not gonna do itself, and it's going to take quite a while, honestly. It'll probably end up taking me like half a day to gather all these resources. So I got 5 shulkers to start. We're gonna go birch, oak, mangrove, spruce, and pale oak. And we're obviously probably not going to do it in that order, because that would be insane and a lot of back and forth. But we're going to start with birch and oak, because we have a bit of deforestation to do just on the other side of the tower over there. So let's get into the time lapse. Okay, so after about 2 hours of deforestation, we now have 1 shulker full of birch logs and 1 shulker full of oak logs. I would say it took about 3 to 4 in-game days for each shulker, so about an hour. And we need to do that for every wood type in the game, pretty much. So let's grab another 2 shulkers and head over to this pale garden forest over here, which is also surrounded by a dark oak forest, so that'll make it really easy to get 2 birds with 1 stone. Alrighty, and just like that, we have leveled nearly an entire pale garden. We have about a shulker box full, and we do want to fill another one, but I need to mend my axe first, and I don't think we're going to do so with one of the mob spawners that we already have. What I think we're going to do instead is go build an enderman farm, which is what I was going to do in the last episode, but never got around to it. So it's going to be a little bit of a detour, and we are going to need to put a little bit of elbow grease into this one, but I think it's going to be worth it in the end. Obviously, enderman farms are way better than a skeleton or a zombie spawner, so let's go build that up real quick. But first things first, we can put down 2 pale logs here, because we're going to fill 2 shulkers, and we'll take the shulker box that we filled with pale logs and we'll put it there for now until we get the other one filled. Now, funnily enough, we actually have to do a little bit of material gathering so that we can go repair our axe so that we can continue material gathering. So I just love the I love the material gathering inception that's going on right now. It's just beautiful. So let's go grab one of our shulker boxes and get a bunch of materials together to go build an enderman farm. Oh my goodness, dude, it just doesn't stop. Oh, I was just doing this to test it out, and I guess I got an advancement heart transplanter. That's pretty cool. Okay, yeah, I don't know if it'll make it in the video when I was mentioning this before, but I think we'll end up using all these creaking hearts that we got at some point and all the ones that we end up crafting to make a big resin farm at some point, because I love the resin block. I love resin. Alrighty, and just like that, we have all the items that we're gonna need to make this enderman farm. So let's take this shulker and make our way to the end. Really quickly, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a lava bucket and include this in the items for the farm, because that's the safer way of building this farm. So yeah, you'll see what we do with that when we get to the end. Okay. What? Game, chill. All right, this is where we put this down, pull out our lava bucket, and I think we just let it run right off the edge. Ouch, that hurt. And then we're basically gonna wait for the lava to stop moving. At that point, it'll be at the absolute bottom of the world. Then we're gonna grab one of these water buckets and place it right beside the lava, but I have to wait for it to stop moving first. Alrighty, I think it stopped moving, so let's just go ahead and place a water bucket right there, and we'll get a cobblestone pillar all the way down. This way, I don't have to fall into the void and die and lose all my stuff.
And use 128 leaves to build away from the main place water.
This is really scary. That is terrifying, bro. There is something terrifying about massive open spaces like this to me. I don't like this at all, dude. Anyways, time to get to work on this farm. I don't want to be here any longer than we have to be because this is crazy. Oh, the way that there is like, oh, I don't like this. It's like, this is getting darker now all of a sudden. Oh my goodness. I'm going to end up letting go of shift, bro. Holy fuck. That was so close, dude. I paused the game. I was so scared. I did not think I was going to survive that just now. What the heck, bro? Oh! Oh! I'm literally so lucky. I had like 4 blocks to work with there. Oh my God. Please, just let it be over.
Stand behind the trapdoor and align yourself with a wall to look around the armor stand.
Okay, so now I guess all we do is look at the endermen from here and they'll start aggroing towards us. Oh my God, that's loud. Oh, that's not good. I can't use something with fire aspect, I guess. Or can I? Do I need the armor stand here? I don't really need the armor stand here, do I? Wow, that's so good, though. Okay, this farm is so loud, but let's just get all our tools meted up, and then we can get back to resource gathering.
You know, that right there is a lie.
Oh, crap, dude. And now that we're back from doing that, I totally forgot that one of the goals at the start of this video was to get netherite tools. So let's go ahead and head to the nether and do that really quickly as well. We're totally getting sidetracked, but it's not really getting sidetracked if it's something you meant to do in the first place, is it? All right, we got one step to make before we go to the nether if we're going to get this netherite, and that's to get a bunch of sand from this desert over here. And then we could combine that with a bunch of the gunpowder that we already have built up and make a ton of TNT. So it shouldn't take us too long, hopefully, to get this netherite. Alrighty, and here's the desert we're looking for. So let's go ahead and slap this shulker down and get started. I didn't expect there to just be a camel here. I kind of like you. I've never really seen camels in the game before. Hello. I really like them, though. I know they may not sound very much. They probably don't. Maybe they do sound like camels. I don't know. I'm not a camel expert, okay? But I like them. They're cute. I'm gonna have one day. I was actually thinking that recently. Another creator by the name of Incy, way bigger than this channel that you're watching right now. He's done a lot of building in the desert recently, and I love building pyramids and stuff like that. So maybe we could build a desert-themed city or something like that in the next couple of weeks here. Because if Incy thinks he's gonna be able to hail as Desert King uncontested, I do not think so. All right, let's make a bunch of this and make the rest of this into TNT. Anyways, let's make our way to the nether and finally get our hands on some netherite armor. I'm actually thoroughly excited for this, dude, okay? I've never had netherite before, and I'm really excited to mess around with armor trim on netherite armor. Anyways, let's get this netherite, dude. I'm super excited. All right, I got too excited. I forgot flint and steel. So now let's go back to the nether. All right, so I just watched a video on this stuff, and I guess we're going to want to get down to Y level 15. And we're also going to want to make sure that we are mining on a chunk border. So somewhere like right in between 2 chunks like this. I guess ancient debris spawns more commonly on the borders of chunks. I didn't know that. Very good information. Ah! Stop! All right, let's just do this bit for now, because there's a lot of lava around here. This is getting dangerous. All right, there we go. Let's get another one. Fire the hole. Oh! Hey, there's a couple of pieces right there. Let's go grab those real quick. All right, let's take you. Thank you. Wow, there's quite a few in that vein. I've never seen that before. And then there's one up here as well. We gotta get to that somehow. Awesome, there's 4 ancient debris already. I'm already out of TNT, dude. That's crazy how expensive that is. 2 stacks of TNT got me 5 netherite. Are you serious right now? Hey, there's another piece. Nice. Oh, there's another piece. Wow, there's 2 in there. Nice, dude. Oh my God! This netherite is being protected right now. Okay, I think we're good. Hey, there's 2 right there. Nice. All right, I think I like the mining method better. I thought TNT was going to be more efficient, but I just don't have enough gunpowder yet. And even when I do have enough gunpowder, I can't see myself using that method over mining, dude, honestly. I already got the same amount from just mining for it in probably half the time than I did when I was actually putting down the TNT. So I think we're going to be saving on gunpowder and never using that method. Mining is way easier. Way cheaper. Yeah, for sure. Mining is the superior method. 1000%. Oh, I do have an empty shulker box. Perfect, dude. I'm actually going to grab all of the deep slate that we're going to need while I'm here. I don't know if there's anything else. Oh, yeah, we will need logs from the nether here as well. But while we're here, we might as well get this off the list. Hey, there's another one right there. Perfect, dude. If I'm correct, I think I only need 36 of these. And then we're gonna have to go get the upgrade templates as well. Which, if I'm being honest, I am pretty terrified to have to go do. Because if you saw episode 1 of this series, you'll know that we got quite destroyed by the brutes in that episode. As a matter of fact, I've been to that bastion since that day. And one of them is still wearing my chest plate. The audacity, bro. Hey, there's 2 more. Very nice. 3 more, I think, actually. Very awesome. Hey, very nice. Got some more. 17 in about 20 minutes, dude. That's not too bad. Hey, there's some more. Very nice. Very nice. All right, I'd like to find a couple more, and then we'll head to the enderman farm and repair our tools really quickly. I don't know if we're gonna find another one before I have to go repair our pickaxe. Ah, just as I said it. Perfect. All right, yeah, we're gonna have to head back and repair our pickaxe really quickly. But from the looks of it, I don't think we'll need to do that again. All right, let's get mending. Hello, sirs. Look at me. Look at my face. All right, before we head back into the nether, we have about a half a shulker full of blackstone. And obviously our goal is going to be to fill that before we get back. But I think what I'm going to do is grab an extra 2 shulkers as well and fill those up with warped wood and crimson wood while we're in the nether. So I don't think we'll actually need anything else from the nether after that. Alrighty, dude, and just like that, we have 36 ancient debris, and I'm pretty sure that's all we need to fully upgrade all of our gear. Wow, dude, look at what I did to this little area of the underground in the nether. This is crazy. I basically turned it into a massive mine shaft. But anyways, let's get on out of here because we have one more step to do before we can actually upgrade all our gear, and that's get an upgrade template, which is going to be so much fun, and we're probably going to die several times doing that, but it's necessary. So let's get on out of here and go do that. Might as well throw this ancient debris in to cook up while we're doing everything else. We'll grab the gold as well. We might as well turn it all into netherite ingots really quickly. This is actually so exciting. I've never had netherite gear before. I'm so excited, bro. All right, there we go, dude. There's our first netherite ingot. My first netherite ingot ever. And just like that, we have all the netherite ingots that we're gonna need to upgrade all of our tools, dude. Let's go. All right, so this bastion that we need to get to is right over there. And the way that I actually found this in the first place, our portal is just over here. And I was kind of just hanging out up here mining for quartz for the starter base. And I dug into the top of this. So I think that's gonna be the same strategy that we take this time around. Actually, I have an idea. Let's go down to the bottom first and just see if I don't know if I have exposed the treasure room or not, but let's see if I have. I actually don't think I ever found out. Is that what this is though over here? Is this the treasure room? Is that what this is? I think this is the treasure room. Are you serious right now? Whoa. Oh no, this is just danger. Yes, this is the treasure room. No shot. What? Okay, yeah, I'm at this one, and I think this is the kind of one that we need to go to. I'm not too sure, but that looks right. Okay, I've been at the wrong kind of bastion this whole time. Dude, are you serious right now? Okay, so yeah, we got this one over here, which looks considerably different. Okay, yeah, what is this down here? Is this where we need to be over there? I'm not too sure. Oh yeah, there's a bridge over towards it and everything. Yeah, I think this is where we need to be for our upgrade template. All right, I think we're in a good spot though. Oh, whoa. I wasn't ready. You got steak punched. I didn't mean to do it. Bro, I'm scared. I literally just shook into a misclick. That was I'm terrified, dude. If you go down to the woods today, you'll see a bunch of brutes dying. If you go down to the woods today, you'll see brand new upgrading to netherite. This is so easy. What the heck, man? Couple of stragglers on the edges here. Take them out as we make our way down. I think we can make our way down one more. Oh, there's a couple here. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm gonna get myself killed, bro. There we go. Got a little bit of a safe spot now. Can take these guys out from. Whoa. You're above me? Keep the freaking chest plate on. What are you doing, game? The chest plate stays on. Let's make our way down the next couple of floors slowly. But that's looking like where we're going to get our netherite upgrade template, dude. Exciting, bro. Won't be long now. Ah, hello there, sirs. Thank you for the warning that you're right there. I do appreciate it. Wow. So much XP. Am I going to be able to... Yes, we are going to be able to take it out just like so. Beautiful, dude. Yes, dude. There it is. Yes, let's go. And we got some ancient debris as well. What is with all the crap in my inventory? Hey, we got 2 of them. Let's go, dude. Nice. Notch apple, I'll take that. Spectral arrows, we'll take that. That is great loot, dude. Not used to that in Minecraft. Going and exploring and actually getting good loot from the structures. That's awesome. All right, let's get out of here, man. I'm so excited. Let's go turn all our armor into netherite. All right, now that we're back at the base, I'm pretty sure we can duplicate these netherite upgrade templates. So let's go ahead and figure out how to do that really quickly. Okay, yeah, just like that. We can make a couple of these already. All right, so let's start with our sword. Get the upgrade template and the netherite ingot. Oh, dude, let's go. I'm so happy, bro. I've never had netherite gear before. This is so cool. This is such a big achievement for me, bro. Well, let's get the rest of the gear. Pickaxe, get the axe, get our shovel, get our pants, get our boots, get our helmet, and we'll get our chest plate. Oh my goodness, bro. Cover me in debris. Cover me in debris. What a genuinely happy moment, man. Look at us, bro. Oh my goodness, that is so badass. That is so cool. For the aesthetics alone, bro, I'm so pleased with the fact that we remember to go and do that in this video. Full netherite gear is crazy, dude. I love that. All right, now that we got that taken care of and we're back on track just a little bit, it's time for us to get back into material gathering because we still have quite a lot of that to do before we can start this village. So with that being said, we're probably going to speed through this part of the video, honestly. So let's cut to the time lapses now. Right, so first things first, we went back to the nether to grab the warp wood and the crimson wood that we're gonna need. And time lapses just don't work very well when it comes to chopping down trees in the nether because the leaves don't break away on their own. So enjoy this clip of me getting jumped by a bunch of piglins. All right, now that we got that warp wood and crimson wood, that's pretty much all we're going to need from the nether because we also got that blackstone shulker behind us as well. Now we got 1 shulker full of pale oak and we wanted 2 of those. So let's grab 1 more shulker and fill that up with pale oak and also grab another 2 to fill with dark oak as well. Anyways, now we can pick up where we left off before we got distracted by that enderman farm and getting netherite. So let's get to it. Okay, so we've made a bit of progress since the last time I was with you guys. So we filled another shulker full of pale oak logs. We have 1 filled with dark oak logs. And we also filled the shulker with spruce logs and a little bit of acacia logs as well. All right, now the only thing left that we have to do is grab some mangrove wood. And I already have a little bit in a shulker box here that I've been gathering over the last day or 2 on and off. But even though gathering mangrove wood sucks, I gotta stop procrastinating it because that's one of my favorite building blocks, to be honest with you. So let's go ahead and get back to this mangrove swamp. All right, I gotta be honest with you, bro. I am so over collecting mangrove wood. So let's just get back to the base for now. I got about a shulker and a half, so I didn't get much more than I had before, but I'm just done. I'm just done. It takes too long. It's so annoying. And now that we're back at the base, I can put this shulker down. That's all we got for mangrove logs. Honestly, I think we should be good because I mainly just use more colorful blocks like this for texturing and detailing anyways, so we should be good with just that. But with that being said, there are a couple of other miscellaneous things that I'm going to grab off camera, like diorite and andesite, that kind of thing. But aside from that, I would say it's time we start planning out this village. We got a couple of steps to take care of. First things first, we're probably going to terraform the whole area. We're gonna go over here by the barn house over there and terraform over there. We're gonna terraform down here and we're gonna terraform over the edge over there. Once we're done terraforming, then we're gonna obviously build the houses for the village. And then once we're done building the village, we're gonna tie the whole thing together and make it look like it was all one big village in the first place. So whole lot of work ahead of us, but it's best we just get started if you ask me. I think maybe the best way to start this would be to take down this super smelter. We're gonna have to do this sooner rather than later anyways, so. All right, so the super smelter is all taken care of and I'm just getting ready to terraform the whole place. But as I'm doing so, I'm starting to sort of think, should I do a path before or like the outline of the path before I actually start the village, and that way we can actually figure out where we're gonna put everything a little bit easier? I'm thinking that might be the strat, honestly. But before we can do that, we gotta get started terraforming, so let's just do that. All right, so we're gonna start down here, bring it out. Bam, should be easy enough, dude. So this is basically gonna need to come all the way to the end like this. This is strange. All right, so let's just keep filling this in just like so. Bringing all this around just like so. And just like that, we are finished off terraforming this little bit. And yeah, dude, look at that. The power of terraforming completely looks different. It actually changed like the look of this entire area. All right, so I'm not sure if the rest of the terraforming is gonna make it in the video or not, the time lapse, because I'm kind of a bad YouTuber and forgot to record most of it. But I did do a little terraforming over there. As you can see, it's a little bit more flat, a little bit more ready for us to put some builds down on. I also did a bunch of terraforming over here. I brought this down a couple of levels. Sorry about the lag. But yeah, as you can see, the grass is still growing in over here, over by the barn house. We are going to be putting a couple of builds at least on this part of the area of the complex. Hello, sir. How you doing? I'm just thinking about it, and I actually do have a little bit of terraforming left to do right over here, and actually probably right down here as well. Because other than over there, this is going to sort of be like the second acting central hub. I'm also thinking about making like a cascading walkway. I've already outlined it, so we'll probably turn that into like a bit of like a cliff that sort of extends out from the mountain right there and gives us an area to build a walkway on. So, lots of plans, lots of stuff that we have on the agenda. But with all that fun stuff out of the way that I, barely probably got any of in the video, because I'm a bad content creator, I think it's time we use some of these resources that we gathered and actually get to work on one of these houses. All right, so I think the first house we're gonna build is gonna be like right here. So let's make a little bit of space. Make a little bit of space for what we're going to be building here. And I'm going to use dark oak logs for the frame of the house and tough bricks for the walls and stuff like that. So let's get to it. Once we have these up, we're just going to strip them on our way down as well. I wasn't sure how I felt about the look of stripped dark oak logs before, but I kind of like it now. It's kind of growing on me. And strip all these as well. So now we're just going to wall this in just like so. And we're going to actually add a little bit of depth afterwards, because I always put the pillars up, not thinking of the fact that I always like to do sort of what I did with the, you can see with the outside of the base there. I like to have the walls sort of collapsed in by one block and then have two pillars for the frame. So we're going to do that. But first things first, let's just wall all this in. All right, so I had to grab some more tough bricks, but I also decided to grab some polished tough slabs as well to see if that might look good to texture the build with. So let's see if that works. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I like that as a texture. Yeah, dude, I really like that. I'm gonna put that on all four walls. It gives a really cool medieval look. All right, yeah, that looks really good. We got the whole thing walled in. So now let's take down these supports that we put in before, or these pillars that we put in before. Yeah, and then we could sort of add a bit more depth to the frame of the house, just like that, just like we did with the starter base over there. And there we go. That adds a little bit of depth to the build. We're definitely gonna build a house on a foundation for one of these village builds. I've never done that before, so we got to do that. I think I might take the house down by one block. All right, so I grabbed some black stone. We're going to put a stair in right there, just like that. Get a little bit of distinction from the rest of the stone colors and a little bit of depth when we put the door in there. We're also going to stick some of these just here, just like that. Make it look like it's a little bit rounded off. That looks good already. Do that, put that in on all these different sides here. Backside's not going to matter too much. We're not really going to see it because it's pressed right up against a mountain, but we'll do it anyways. And as a matter of fact, we might as well just head to the roof right away and get that done first things first. So let's do that. I am going to use a black stone trim for the roof, so let's get started. I don't know how I feel about that shape of roof. I'm not too sure. Let me try it on the other side quickly. I don't mind that, actually. That looks kind of quaint. That looks kind of chill. Let's do that. All right. How are we looking? How are we looking? Okay. All right. I don't... It could be worse, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of small, so we didn't really have much room to work with and be super creative with, but I definitely like the colors. The colors are working really well together. This is a random block that doesn't need to be in the way, but I'm kind of liking the colors for sure. I just feel like, you need to go a little bit bigger with the design if you're going to do anything, super cool. So it's the well-known Minecraft phenomenon where you build something cool and crazy, and then the next time you build something quaint and sort of like laid back, it doesn't feel the same. So I think it's a decent build. I think my brain is just clouded from all the crazy stuff we've been doing lately. So I think on the inside, we're just going to break out all the dirt and replace the floor with some warped wood. Okay, we got the flooring done in there. Okay, that looks kind of nice. Nicely separated and everything. All right, let's get some hanging lanterns in here. So we'll throw a chain. Are you serious? I had to move that in by one just so we could actually hang the lantern there, but that looks pretty good, actually. I quite like that. Let's go do that on the other side as well. Yeah, that looks really good. I like that a lot. I also brought some tinted glass with us, so we'll put that in a couple of these windows. Okay, looking nice. I've never used a warped door before. How does this look? Oh, that looks really cool, actually. I really like that. That's super fancy. How's it look from the outside? Oh yeah, dude, that looks awesome. This build is actually coming together quite a bit for something so tiny. I know I was sort of like let down on the build at first, but this is coming together quite nicely. This looks really cool. Okay, that looks pretty nice. That looks awesome. I like that a lot. There we go. Alrighty, now with that, I'd say that's pretty much the exterior done. I'm going to decorate the roof a little bit as well afterwards, but one last thing that I need to do is actually extend a path from it so that the path connects with the rest of our base as well. I'll probably honestly just extend this path and continue doing so until I hit the forest path. Alrighty, and just like that, we have officially got this brand new village house connected to the rest of the base, so that looks pretty good, actually. Okay, so there's a couple things that I added since I was recording last, and I added some additional decoration to the supports here. Maybe we can add like a warped fence, kind of connecting these two warped fences, I should say. But I also added these buttons on the side of the roof, and I think that looks really cool as well. So we're gonna keep doing that all the way around. Maybe we could even do that on these as well. Yeah, just like that. Very nice. Where we brought the roof up a little bit on each part. Anyways, we got a couple of extra additional decorations in here, like I said. But before we go inside and decorate the interiors, we have to actually throw some flowers down. Hit this whole area with some bone meal, make it look nice, make it look chill, and then we can head on inside. So I gotta go grab some flowers really quickly from the starter base. All right, we're gonna bring bone meal all the way along the rest of this path as well, just like so. Once we have all that in, we're gonna start with the roses, lilacs, and peonies, as is usual. We'll put some peonies in over here, some peonies in over here. I hate creeper grass because it stops you from placing blocks on it. Oh my goodness, bro. It genuinely makes me angry. Like, it actually makes me angry. Okay, so we got all those in there. Get some lilacs in there as well. Don't know why my game is lagging so much lately, but I literally can't even stream anymore because of it. Now we're gonna get the rose bushes as well. All right, there we go. That's actually looking really, really good so far. Obviously, we have to get some end rods and some mushroom blocks in there, just like so. Those always look really awesome, no matter pretty much wherever you put them. There we go. Get another one in there just like that. We'll even get one in right here just like so. One in behind here. It'll look really nice once we extend the rest of this foliage around the house. Take out this torch. We could probably put one right there as well. Okay, now we can go around with our composters and put some azalea leaves on top of them just like that. Put another one there just like so. Put one there just like that. Put down a couple of azaleas around as well. Break out that dandelion. Get that out of here. Sorry, my dandelion textures are broken right now as well. I don't know why. Another azalea there. Another azalea there. We could probably even put another one of these right here just like that. Oh, wrong thing. All right, look at that, dude. Wow, that adds so... I love doing that. I love doing this. This is my favorite part of building in Minecraft. I absolutely adore this. Like, I cannot explain to you how much I love this part of the game. That just tied the whole build together. Oh my goodness, I love it. We're not even done with flowers yet. Flowers and decorations and cool stuff. So I got some of these blue bunched up mushrooms from the nether, as well as a bunch of these nether mushrooms. The red ones as well as the blue ones. I don't know if I have any nearby. Yeah, right here. I have some dried grass, some firefly bushes. Obviously, we got the end rods and the mushrooms. I used pale leaves actually for the composter and leaf combination up on the path here, and I think that looks really cool. I think that actually looks really good together. But yeah, you guys can sort of get an idea for what we're gonna be having down there when all is said and done if you just look at this path, because I've actually spent quite a bit of time just kind of coming up with different ways to decorate paths with this path. So all right, let's get some of these amethyst clusters down around here as well. I know they're not flowers, but they do add to the vibe of a nice foliage path. I love the fantasy vibe that they add. There we go. Okay, I kind of like that actually, having different sizes to put around everywhere. All right, now we can put some cactus flowers down around here as well. I absolutely love the look of these cactus flowers. It's too bad they take so long to gather up a big supply of. They look so cool and they sound awesome too. Oh, that sound is wicked. Oh, you hear that? Did you hear that just now? That's so satisfying. Yeah, just something to add a little bit more color to this already beautiful, massively colorful little foliage area. That looks so good already. Now we'll go around with our tulips as well. We got a skeleton trying to jump us, but he can mind his own business. I said you can mind your own business, sir. I just paid my property taxes. Go away. If the bank is at your door asking for property taxes and you already paid your property taxes, you only have one option. Get over here. Get over here. Where'd you go? That's right. See, he overheard us talking about getting to our breaking point. The tax man left. That's what you have to do, boys. Anyways. Okay, that looks pretty sick. I added some twisting vines to the sides of the path as well. It kind of like encases the path a little bit, but it also matches the theme of the house that we decided to go with the warped wood roof. And now that the whole exterior of the house has come together, it's time to get started on the interior of it, which is, as I was mentioning before, not my strong suit when it comes to this game. Alrighty, so once again, I wasn't recording, but I did actually do that intentionally this time, but we did get the decoration of the interior done. I stopped recording because I just couldn't figure anything out while I was recording. Commentating my gameplay when I play Minecraft is sort of instructive, and I don't really have any instructions to give on interior decoration at all. I am by no means an authority when it comes to decorating interiors, so I think over here turned out kind of mid, but I really like how this ended up turning out. Looks like we have like very tall bookshelves and stuff like that. I moved my enchantment setup in here as well. Not that we really need it now that we have a bunch of traders over there, but yeah, man, I'm really happy with how this ended up turning out. We got a nice little chandelier on the inside as well. I've never actually put a chandelier in any builds, so this is the first one I've ever done. I bet you there's way more ideas for different kinds of chandeliers that we'll end up experimenting with later on. But yeah, with that being said, we got some barrels in here for some storage, some chests that we can't access just for the look, a couple that we actually can as well. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this ended up turning out. We now have another additional little area that we can hang out and keep stuff in this world. So very cool, very happy with that. That being said, I do have a bit of a plan as to what we're going to do next. I think we have one or two different builds that I have in mind, and one of them is obviously going to be just another house, just like that one, but with a couple different blocks. We'll get to that one after, but what I think we're going to do next is build a greenhouse over here. I know that's a bit more of like an intricate build that I could probably dedicate an entire episode to, but I'm not going to build anything crazy. I might do a circular design, but that's about as crazy as we'll get. But I need somewhere to keep all our flowers and all our decorative foliage blocks and stuff like that. So we're going to terraform over here just a little bit, flatten this area out, and then we will build a circular greenhouse. That being said, I very well may need a bunch of green dye, so it might take me a little while to get all the materials for that. So I might actually build this house over here first. But because I'm basically just going to be repeating this design over here with a couple of different blocks, we'll probably just speed through this with a bit of a time lapse. All right, so I've laid out a bunch of lightning rods to get them to oxidize. We're going to use that for the greenhouse build, but if I just turn around really quickly, well, it's actually covered up by trees. My bad. But if we head over here, we can actually see that I did finish this house. It's basically just a copy paste of the other house that we already built. I just decided to use a couple of different blocks for it, but we did up the path nicely around this area just like we did with the other house as well. But we actually did something a little bit differently with the back of this one. So we actually added a little retaining wall, which I think I'm going to do around pretty much the entire base on this side. So if we come over here, we can see that there's a big harsh drop off from the path that we have from the starter base to the farmhouse. There's this big drop off, and so obviously we can't really do anything in terms of building on there. So I'll probably just dig it in a little bit further and then do retaining walls all the way across, just like we did over behind this house. I think that'll end up looking really good because over here already it looks super good. So I decided to give us a little bit of a backyard with this one and put a tree in the back as well. I don't know, maybe we'll end up using this backyard for something in the future. I'm still waiting for all the cactus that we'll need to build the greenhouse, so for now I have a little outline for a house done right here. This one is going to be even more basic than that one and the other one that we did. I don't even think it's going to have a roof. This is going to be like a very basic village build that you would see in like a vanilla village. So I'm going to get this out of the way really quickly. Let's do that. Okay, so I've expanded the cactus farm just a little bit so this process can go just a little bit quicker. And in the meantime, we're going to go get that house done that I was mentioning before right here. And we're also going to, first things first, get the retaining wall put in because I actually really love the idea of having that all the way along this cliffside. I think there's always been something missing from this area that I decided to set up base. And I feel like that's sort of exactly it because we have this super cool naturally forming land bridge that I've done quite a bit with already and made look really nice. But I haven't been sure exactly what to do to tie that together with the rest of the area that we have down below because of the major drop off that we have on the edge of it. I haven't been exactly sure what to do with it, so this is the perfect idea, and I think it's going to make the whole thing look really nice. It's going to make the whole area look very lived in, so that's going to actually be quite a bit of work, but I don't think it'll be too crazy, so let's get to work. And once we're done with that wall as well as building this house over here that I was mentioning before, then we should have more than enough cactus as well as all of our lightning rods weathered so that we can build this greenhouse here, which I'm actually really excited for. Finally going to have somewhere to store our flowers other than all over the place. Oh no, our poor bee. And then our bees don't have to die on our cactus farm. Okay, dude, let's get to work. Let's get this done. All right, so that is looking absolutely amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I have never done this to a base before, or like a sort of village or complex or whatever you want to call it. This looks crazy, dude. This looks awesome. Not only does it look really cool, but it also gives me a little bit more space to do something with in this area. Because obviously before this was like super jagged and I couldn't really do anything with it before, but now I have all this area to maybe put some trees and some ponds and waterfalls. Man, now there is potential. Now we're coming across some potential, I'm telling you, bro. So I didn't quite finish touching everything up. You can actually see behind the base. This is kind of how everything was all the way along here before, but now we have so much more space to work with. My goodness, dude, this looks so cool. I absolutely love what this does to a base as well. Like I said before I even did it, I knew it would make the area look more lived in as well, because that obviously makes it look like, you know, human settlement. I'm sure throughout the rest of the video we're going to do that around more areas of the base, because even if you walk around the path over here, it just looks cool having an extra layer of stone bricks sort of poking out and acting as a railing. It looks super cool. It adds so much to a base. I absolutely love that. And yeah, we're probably going to wrap it around all the way over here. I did add a bit of a path here to connect the whole area, so coming along very nicely. We do just about have enough cactus to actually start on this greenhouse. But yeah, dude, this place is coming along really nicely so far. I know that's a recurring theme that we say that throughout the series so far, but my goodness, dude, it's not just one build coming together at this point. It's kind of looking like the whole area is slowly starting to come together. All right, so I may have just had a really awesome idea. Come with me real quick. Let's go do this. All right, so I'm thinking to add a little bit of variation, a little bit of depth, and a little bit of light to these retainer walls. We could throw in some copper bulbs back here, kind of like we did over on the barn house windows. We can get these all lit up one by one at a time, nice and tediously, of course. And there we go. We got all those lit up now, and then we could stick a stair in the corner just like that of each corner. And bam, there we go. We got a nice little circular lighting design going, and I have a couple more of these that I want to put in along here as well. But yeah, dude, that looks really good. That looks awesome. I really like that. Obviously I have the outline for a couple more village houses here, so they might be blocked out a little bit, but that looks awesome. I love that, man. Let me get a couple more of those put in, as well as these ones filled in over here, and we'll get a couple going up top as well. And just like that, we get a couple more blocks down, couple blocks in the corners here, couple stairs in the corners here. I decided to go a little bit bigger with the lighting design that we went with on the second level here, so take a step back, take a look really quickly. And yeah, you could see visibly right away that the upper ones are a little bit bigger. But overall, man, all in all, that looks so good. Oh my goodness. That looks super cool. I'm pretty happy with that. I think maybe I'll try and stick another one in there. And that should even the aesthetic of it out just a little bit. Obviously, we have to take all this dirt out still, because the point of a retainer wall is to not have anything in front of it. So basically free up a little bit of space in your area. But yeah, dude, I am super happy with how that ended up turning out. What a nice little side mission. That probably is going to have added like 50% to the overall result of this video. So that looks amazing. I'm so happy with that. Anyways, back to building houses. I got to take care of this basic one over here really quickly. So I got to work, because if I'm going to be getting anywhere near a village done in this video, it's time for us to get to some time lapses. And I decided to go with the shape of this house being two squares kind of interconnected with one another. I then decided to try out some warped wood for the floor, but I decided on blackstone in the end. I put some stairs out front of the house and connected the path to the house. And then this happened. I'm not exactly sure what that was all about. Then I put the roof on by putting a stair on each corner just to give a little bit of depth to the trim of the roof. And I just capped it off with one layer just like so. Nothing too fancy, just a nice basic flat top roof. Then we got started on an equally basic house, just a bit of a different shape, and we decided to go with the same blocks. Looking back on the recording, I probably should have varied up the blocks I was using to fill in the walls a little bit more, but that's okay. I like the diorite that we ended up going with, so we're going to continue going with it, at least on the lower level of the base like we're at right now. Maybe there could be something to that in terms of the lore, that this is more the lower class area, so they were forced to build their homes with lower quality materials. I don't know, something like that. So like I mentioned before, we decided to fill in the walls with diorite, a very nice block for a lower quality section of a town to be using. It looks sort of akin to marble. I really ended up liking the diorite that we used, so we went with it. Once again, we had a roof to put onto this house, of course, so I decided to do the exact same thing I did with the other one. An upside down stair facing out of each and every corner of the base. And there is actually a reason that I ended up doing that, and I'll show you guys that in the next frame here. So the reason I ended up doing that is because the slab that I ended up using was a top slab, which you can't put any chains on. But if I have an upside down stair facing out from each and every corner, I can put a slab just like that, and it also smooths the roof out just a little bit. It looks really cool, and it actually gives me the ability to hang stuff from it as well. After I got done with the last house, I decided to throw together a super basic one just to fill in the space just a little bit more. The interior of this house literally ended up being 3x3, so it's like a vanilla village house you'd see. I think the blocks we ended up using and the decoration that we ended up doing in the end ended up really making it look like something that was worth having in your village. So as basic as it was, it really pops, it really stands out, and I think things are really starting to come together. I know we say that all the time here on the channel. There we go. We got 2 extra village houses right over here, and we also have the one that we put together, the 2 sort of squares intersecting with one another. Alright, so as you guys saw from the time lapse, we did go ahead and get these 2 houses done, as well as this cute little house over here. I actually quite like this one. The shape of it is really cool. The way it ended up coming together actually really impressed me. It's very basic, you know, there's not much room to do much on the inside with, but I don't know. I like it. This is an interesting one. It just stood out to me for some reason. Anyways, I did do a little bit of decorating on the outside as well, gave a little bit of depth with the trap doors and the shelves. It's becoming pretty apparent pretty quickly that we're going with a bit of a warped wood theme for this village, and I really like that. I really like that so far. Blackstone with anything looks amazing. I'm just a big fan of Blackstone in general, but the warped wood really goes well with it. It's quickly becoming one of my favorite wood types, I'm not gonna lie. I did start getting a little bit of a path going around here. I know we meant to do that first, but I never ended up doing that, so that's probably the first thing I'll do after I show off sort of what we got finished over here. But yeah, as you can see, we have a couple of plant holders here. I decided to put them on top of some Blackstone slabs, full blocks now, but we do have a little bit of interior decorating to do. I didn't actually do either of these houses or the one over there, so we got to get that out of the way really quickly, but I'll probably honestly do that off camera and show you guys after. But one thing I will say is that taking on the challenge of building like a city slash village is really different to just doing a standalone build. You actually have to plan how you want the entire city to look and sort of come together, and I feel like I didn't do a very good job with that over here, so I'm gonna rethink my strategy just a little bit with where I want to place my builds, because things are just sort of looking very uniform, and I don't really like that in terms of building like a medieval-esque village in Minecraft. It doesn't quite feel right to me, so I'm gonna try and be a little bit more varied with where I put my build, a little bit more varied and a little bit more selective. But as you can see, I do have another outline for what is eventually gonna be a bit of a redesign of a cleric hall that you would see in a regular village, so I'm gonna get to work on that. We are just about ready to get started on the greenhouse, and interestingly enough, I decided to download Lamatica, and so I spent a couple of hours learning how this all works, and so we are going to get all of the resources that we're going to need, and we need quite a bit of green stained glass, so I'm still working on getting all of the cactus that we're going to need to do that. But I'm also going to need a metric ton of waxed weathered lightning rods, so we have to go make a bunch more of those. And oh my goodness, dude, it took so long for those other ones to get to the weathered stage. It's ridiculous, and I had to basically get the exact same amount that I just got before, so literally took like close to 10 in-game days for all of them to weather, dude. I can't believe that, and I can't believe we need to do that again. That's ridiculous. What a ridiculous building block, bro. It's okay though, it's not like we don't have plenty of copper. Wait, dude, I don't even have enough copper, I don't think. We're gonna have to go to a trial chamber and get the copper that we need. And so we did that. We went to a trial chamber nearby. Luckily, it was only about 500 blocks away. I grabbed about half a shulker full of wax copper blocks, so it should be a while before we need for this again. Apparently, I'm gonna need way less green dye and glass than I thought to do this build, so apparently I wasted a bunch of time for absolutely nothing. Yeah, there we go, just like that. We got all the green stained glass that we're gonna need, and like I said before, just a couple miscellaneous that we need to grab, but other than that, it looks like we're ready to go. All right, so we finally have enough weathered lightning rods, and oh my goodness, dude, that took absolutely ages. I swear to God, this is the worst AFK process in Minecraft. So with that being said, in one of these episodes, we're gonna have to build ourselves a copper factory, as well as specifically a copper oxidization station, because my goodness, bro, this is terrible. As you can see, we have a bunch over here on top of this mountaintop, and if we go around the barn house here, we have a bunch over here. I just want to get some stacked up all the way at the most oxidized state, just so we can scrape it if we need to later on. That just took way too long, dude. But with that being said, we can finally get started on this build, and I will see you guys in the time lapse when we do. All right, I'll be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure how this time lapse will end up turning out. I'm just getting used to using Lamatica, and I don't have everything set up properly, so it was a little bit sloppy putting this part of the build together, but that doesn't take away from the end result at all. I ended up being such a big fan of this build once the inside was all decorated and lit up, because not only does this serve as a nice area for us to chill and have as a part of our village, but there's also a ton of storage for pretty much every flower and foliage block in the game in this greenhouse. So I'd say it's the perfect little build to have thrown in with this village build, because I want at least a few of the builds that we do to be unique and serve a purpose as well, and I think we definitely got that out of this greenhouse build. All right, so as you can see, we got the exterior of the greenhouse done, and to be honest with you, dude, I don't know how to use Lamatica. Obviously, the way that I used it, it was helpful, and it gave me the ability to fully plan a building creative and then translate that to my survival world very easily, but I don't know how to bring the schematic up layer by layer, and I also don't have the easy place or auto place mod or or whatever it's called, that allows you to basically just place a block in midair as long as it's where the block is supposed to be on the Limatica schematic. So I don't have any of that sorted out, but I'll have that figured out for next video. Very rookie, I know. You could probably even see it in the time lapse. It came together very sloppy. But with that being said, let's head on in here really quickly because my goodness, dude, this just looks absolutely beautiful with Bliss shaders on. I am the biggest fan in the world of this, and we literally aren't even halfway done this build yet. Look at that green glow, dude. That looks so awesome. But yeah, dude, I really enjoyed this, and like I said, I'll have all the issues sorted out with Limatica for the next episode. The only thing I'm really going to use it for at this point for the rest of the build is going to be a tree that I had generated into the build when I was doing it in creative. So I'm going to use Limatica to just rebuild that tree by hand, and then for the rest of it, we will throw in a bunch of chests, make it look nice, and throw in the rest of the decorations that I threw in the build before. So let's get this tree thrown in really quickly, and then let's get a bunch of storage going for all of our foliage. After I finished putting the tree in the greenhouse, I put a bunch of item frames on each and every chest that I slapped down. In just a moment, we'll be getting all the flowers moved over from the starter base to here, so that's why I went ahead and did that. Alright, so this part that I'm putting in right now is bar none the most important part for this build, and I think we can actually just go like this. Perfect. Unfortunately, we got the chest right here, so we're not going to be able to put any of the trapdoors, but I put the trapdoors under some weathered lightning rods to give the effect of like a bunch of framing on the inside of the glass. Basically the way you would have it with a real life greenhouse, and I think it ended up looking really cool. So let's get this put in all the way around. This is a super tedious task. This took me a long time in creative, so it's going to take me a long time now that I'm in survival doing it. So let's just get to it. So like I mentioned before, we do have to move all the flowers from the starter base to the greenhouse, but we actually have to decide where we want to put all the flowers. So I went ahead and did that as well. Alright, so the next part of the build I am going to be using Limatica for, just to remember exactly how I did everything because I really liked my end result before. So let's just speed through this really quickly and finish this build off for good. Some copper chains hanging as well for a little bit of extra color. Some more glowberries hanging down. Light them up. Also get some vines hanging down from here as well. Some more vines growing just like so. Some more glowberries, light them up. Some more vines on the top here. Some more glowberries. Dang, dude, that looks absolutely phenomenal. Let's get all these other lanterns busted out really quickly just so we can get a look at what we're actually ended up with in the end there. Dude, that was just not English. Like, that was just not English. Anyways, my babbling nonsense aside, we have moved all of our flowers in here that we have at the moment. I'm gonna go visit a flower forest and watch a movie and just let my brain chill for a bit. I've been playing Minecraft all day. So we'll have quite a bit of this filled up in a little bit here, and I also gotta go to the nether, get some flowers and foliage from there as well. But does this not look absolutely amazing, man? Like, I love the finished result of this. I feel like I'm missing having a couple of areas around here lit up, but I'm not too sure at the moment. So we were missing a bit of lighting at the top of the greenhouse, but we'll take a look at all that, plus the little bit of a surprise build that we did outside the greenhouse when we get back from the nether. But for now, the reason we needed to go to the nether is to get some blaze rods, because I use pretty much every single blaze rod that I have for all the copper bulbs we've used throughout this build, or these builds, I should say. Now, after standing there for about 10 minutes like a plebeian, getting shot at by ghasts and lit on fire by the blazes themselves, I decided to stay true to the theme of this video and get sidetracked by making a farm. And the blaze rod farm that I ended up building actually ended up being pretty crazy and super efficient. It nets about 1,000 blaze rods an hour, and I'm really happy with how it ended up turning out. I'm not gonna lie, working on this thing was super annoying, and that's why you're not gonna get any live commentary from it whatsoever. I lost my mind, okay? There is just something about the act of getting lit on fire in Minecraft that really bugs me. I don't know what it is, but it's a pet peeve, and it needed to stop while this farm was being built, but it just wouldn't. I'll link the tutorial to this farm down below because it was a really good tutorial that I came across. But just to explain the process a little bit really quickly, I dug 7 blocks down under the spawner, and then I cleared out a 13 by 13 area. Then I put down a glass floor, leaving out 2 by 2 square to collect the blazes. After that, I built up in each corner by 10 blocks with stone, and I filled in every single side of that little cube that I just created. After that, I broke out the glowstone around the spawner that I used used to try and get them to stop spawning, but it just didn't work, and I had to deal with them all throughout anyways. So this is just nothing but annoying because I also forgot to take the glowstone out before I put the lava in the chamber to actually force all of the blazes into the little killing chamber that we make for them. 2 out of 10 experience, would not recommend unless you really need blaze rods like I do for my copper bulbs. Anyways, always fun to get a little bit sidetracked and add something useful to the world that we're going to use for a long time. All right, so that was an unexpected but fun little side task, but if we come on into the greenhouse here, we could see that we did do a little bit of work in the meantime. Got all our foliage down and made it look real nice, like a nice little meadow area. And we also got all our lighting into the top. It looks really awesome at nighttime now. We also put some end rods on the outside as well. So as the sun starts to set, we'll go take a look at that. But overall, I think this build turned out really nice now that it's all said and done. If we head just outside the greenhouse here, we could see that I made a nice little mine entrance. I didn't really do anything on the inside of this yet, but it's just another cool little build to add to the whole area that we have going here. I did also go around the base here on some of the areas where we put the retaining wall, as well as extended the path around and bone mealed it up and put some flowers in and made it look awesome. This area is really starting to come together. But with that being said, I do have 2 more build ideas for this video that I want to get done before we end up getting to the end of it. First things first, I have this outline over here that I'll show you guys. So I ended up coming up with this outline for a house, and I actually really like the idea of this coming together. So we're gonna build this house here, and then we're gonna finish the video off on a really big build. We're gonna do a big windmill right here, and you guys probably will see mostly just time lapse for that build, but it's a build I've wanted to do in this area for so long now. Actually, before we do anything else, speaking of bone meal, let's get this whole area bone mealed up by this retaining wall here. I think I have ideas for this area. Okay, perfect. And now that we got this whole area bone mealed up, let's put in our end rod mushrooms. Man, I was worried that I wasn't gonna have a very good thumbnail for this video. I was worried that my city building skills weren't there, but look at that, man. Look at that. Sorry, I know I'm breaking the 4th wall a little bit right now, but that was a bit of a worry of mine, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm not really worried anymore now that we got this whole area sort of tied together a little bit more naturally. So I was saying before, I have an idea for what I want to do with this part of the retaining wall here. And I think what we're going to eventually do is create a river on the very top level of this retaining wall where the land bridge used to be. And it's going to sort of flow down both sides of the mountain. And here we're going to get a pond where we'll build a bridge over top of it. We'll put in a bunch of trees on this level. And then we'll have the water flow this way and go down another level so that we have like cascading waterfalls and stuff like that. Dude, even saying this out loud is getting me excited. Imagine how excited we're going to be when we get all this put in. So I may include that in this video, but I'm not sure. But I wanted to include the sort of brainstorming of it all with you guys, because it's been about a month since I posted last at this point of me recording, and I got 2 more builds to do and editing and making a thumbnail and blah, blah, blah. I'm way behind schedule right now, so I really hope the video ends up being worth the wait. But with that being said, let's get to work. Oh, real quick before we do, we'll take a look at the outside of the greenhouse, and I think that ends up looking really dang cool in the end. Quite a few points throughout this build that looked really bland on the outside, and I struggled to sort of figure out how to fix that issue. But some of these blue flowers, whatever they're called, I always forget. They always solve that issue. But I'm all out of them, and I'm gonna need to grab more. So yet another thing on the list to do. Yeah, so totally just lied to you in that last little bit of the video. Pretty much immediately after this, I decided to get to work on this little area of the retaining wall and make it look a lot more welcoming. I started at the very top of the land bridge, going from the starter base to the barn house, and I put a little pond in that area that I have the path decorated very nicely on the 2 sides. Then I stretched that pond across the path and flowing down into the retaining wall. I extended the path around the enchanting house that we built first in this village, and I continued that basically all the way along the retaining wall. Like I said, grew some trees, put some flowers in, we got our end rod mushrooms in there, and as we do little pieces of this project, my stress levels go down, and hopefully mine and your satisfaction levels continue to go up, because this is all really starting to blend together very seamlessly at this point, in my opinion. After I finished making that area look nice, I got to work on the house that I showed you guys before. This build, I'm telling you, after the fact, ended up turning out so good. It is bar none my favorite non-mega project that I've ever taken on in this game. Just the way that the shapes all work together, and the way that we ended up using our lighting design, and the roof trim in particular is by far my favorite trim I've ever done for any roof. I'm self-glazing a lot right now, and I'm not trying to, but this was an awesome build. It is literally my favorite build that I've ever done in Minecraft, aside from, you know, the really big ones that take a lot of time and effort, and that I kind of have a bias towards because of that. I like this little base that we built here more than I like my starter base. I might actually end up camping out in here. All right, and I think for the most part, I'm done with this build, and this might very well be one of my favorite, like, non-mega projects that I've ever done. This may be my favorite house that I've ever built in Minecraft. I love this, and I think it's not just gonna be a house. I think we're gonna make it a chapel when we decorate the interior, because we can use, obviously, the top area, the top tower here as, like, the bell tower. We can imagine it's that, at least. Then we can use both these sides for, like, areas where we can put pews, and we can also have, like, a lectern at the front and maybe raise it up by a couple of blocks, and we can have, like, a little mini church that you would sort of see in a really small town. But we're not going to be doing anything with interiors quite yet. All 3 houses in frame plus a couple others need interior decoration still, so we'll be doing that before the video's over for sure. But with that being said, this windmill is probably going to take quite a bit longer than this house did to build, so I got to get to that ASAP. All right, so for the windmill build, I decided what blocks we're going to use. We're going to go with the dark oak, as we've been doing throughout the rest of the village, and we're going to use pale oak planks and maybe a couple of other white blocks if I can figure out a palette to use. But before we can get started, we are all out of blackstone as well as diorite, which might be one of the other white blocks that we use for the windmill walls. So I'm gonna have to grab some of both of those, so let's get to doing that really quickly. So I headed into the nether with 2 shulker boxes, and by the time all was said and done, I think I may have gotten a little bit carried away. Idiot. I spent about 2 hours gathering blackstone and filled 2 shulkers twice. And while that may sound like a lot, we typically use about a shulker box of blackstone per episode so far. And by the end of this episode, it'll have been 3 or 4 shulker boxes. I don't have any villagers to trade this stuff with yet, so this is our option. Oh, I didn't go repair my pickaxe yet, but I found a bunch of diorite. Okay. After I finished mending my pickaxe up, I went back to that diorite cluster that I found before. But before getting too far into mining, I went back to the base really quickly and grabbed the beacon so that we could just instant mine this stuff really quick. Well, I'm not gonna lie, that was a lot of setup for just a little bit of diorite that we're gonna be getting, but we got everything sorted now. Oh yeah, that's gonna make this so much quicker. That was worth it, for sure. Get it. Get it. We got skeletons. Very cool game. Cool. It's like a 3-year-old trying to show you something. Whenever a skeleton pops up, that's what it feels like. It's just a 3-year-old trying to show you something incessantly. It's like, okay, buddy, I get it. Very cool. After gathering the diorite that we're going to need for the rest of this video, I made my way back to the base and pretty much immediately got started on the windmill. In other words, I, for some reason, forgot to record anything before I actually started the windmill. So we're just jumping right into it. I started out by putting down the frame of the windmill the way that I usually frame a build, with the frame of the build sort of poking out one block from where the wall ends up going. And once I put down just one corner of this build, I felt super confident in tackling it, and the ideas essentially started flowing. At this point, I decided I wasn't a big fan of the pale oak for the walls after all, so I ended up doing a bit of experimenting with mangrove. I didn't like that either, and in the end, I just decided to wall the place up with blackstone, so it's a good thing we went and got a bunch of that before. By the way, don't ever build anything with blackstone walls because you will literally never go back. I absolutely love how this turned out, and we are not even halfway through this build yet. Now, I don't do this on all my builds, but I did decide to connect all 4 corner pillars with an extra row of logs. I really like how this looks on some builds. It depends on the build though. But then I went around and stripped every single log that I used for the frame of this build. After that, I couldn't help myself but decorate the little bit that we built so far. I always sort of end up doing this, building my builds layer by layer because I get excited and I want to put lanterns in and stairs and walls and make the build look nice. So I did that quickly with what we have so far. Okay, so this is looking absolutely amazing so far. I genuinely, I think I'm outdoing myself with this one in particular. I'm going to break that scaffolding down really quickly there, and I'm going to come right to the center of the build right here, find the block, and build up from there. I'm going to make sure I'm level with the build, and then I'm going to bridge over just like this as many times as I need to. And the reason I'm building this scaffolding is as a reference for the very center of this side of the build. And then I know the build is 23 blocks long this way, so the very center of that is going to be 11, I think, or 12, I think, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then I can bridge out again with the scaffolding and go down here and build up once again. And bridge our way out to what is going to be the center here. And then keep bringing this scaffolding out as well. And this is going to be the very, very center of the build, the absolute center block. And the reason we wanted to find that out is obviously because if we're going to be building a windmill, we're going to need a bit of a circular frame going up from this square frame that we've built so far. But before we get started on that, let's just fly back really quickly and take a look at how it's turning out so far. I mean, the whole area is just looking so great from what we had at the start of the video. This is going to sort of be the foundation of the windmill, and then we are going to go to the very center that we just built to with our scaffolding, and we're going to start figuring out how big we want our circle to be feet, and then we're gonna start going up from there. And because I'm doing a unique design for this build, I don't really have any sort of tutorial to go off of for the actual blades of the windmill, and I've never done a build like that before, so wish me luck. I'm not sure how it's gonna go, I'm not gonna lie. Now, I must have made the mistake of not recording with flashback for this part, but I did put some stairs and some slabs and some walls on the roof as well, just to round off the shape of it a little bit. If I'm being totally honest with you, when you saw in the time lapse when I built it up and broke it down and then built it up again, the shape that I had the first time before I broke it down and rebuilt it was probably better, but it doesn't really matter. In the end, I'm still really happy with the end result of the roof. This in particular is one of my biggest holdups in Minecraft when it comes to building, is building tower roofs like this, so learning a couple new techniques along the way with this build was really helpful. At this point, we don't have a whole lot left to do. We just got to put the wool on the frame of the windmill that I made. But if I can just say for 1 second, this cinematic shot that I got is just gorgeous. This game can be so beautiful sometimes, man. And just like that, if we take a nice step back from the windmill here over to the tower, we have a very, very nice build in my opinion, dude. I am so happy with that. Maybe the blades could have been a little bit bigger, honestly, to be a bit more proportionate with the rest of the build, but I didn't want to go too big because honestly, that was my problem with the tower here when I made that in the last episode. I couldn't get a roof figured out and ended up doing a dome in the end after like 3 days of trying to figure out the roof and kind of getting burnt out in the process. So didn't want to run into that same issue with this build, but my goodness, I probably could have gone a little bit bigger, honestly. This is a lot more simple than anything regarding this tower pretty much. So I'll keep that in mind for future reference. I'm also going to be throwing some windmills in over by the farm off camera. I think it only makes sense to have a windmill where you're going to be around a lot. Like, we're basically making this whole area look like a little settlement, so I kind of want to throw in things like that that feel like they should be there, or that they would be there in real life if this was, you know, a community of people. But there is one last thing that I want to do really quickly, and that's what I mentioned before about putting moss in on the sort of balcony area there. We had on over to the balcony here. I apologize for the loss of frame rate as I use my elytra. I did put doors in here, so this is going to be acting as a balcony for us to sort of just come out here and hang out on and take a look at our sort of civilization that we're building here. Yeah, I think I want to replace all of this blackstone out here with moss, except for like a 1 block wide path all the way around. And then we could put some azalea trees on all 4 corners. And I think that will really add to the build because I kind of just did a lot of black and white with this one. Thankfully, I was able to get some dark oak fences in for decoration to mix it up a little bit, but it's mostly black and white. And honestly, with how much blackstone we used on the base, it does look a little bit off in terms of the color design. As you can tell, I'm very picky with my builds, like very picky, probably even more so than I should be, but it ends up making for good content. So with that being said, let me go grab some moss and get to work. Actually, we're gonna need to make a moss farm in the next episode because I probably only have like a stack of it. And yeah, just like that, I think that is a very essential color pop that we added just now. I'm very happy with that. I'm very happy with this whole build in general. But with all that being said, we have some interiors to decorate because that's something we've neglected over the last little bit. We got to decorate the interior of this build. We got to decorate the interior of the other house that we built just like this one down here. And we got to decorate the interior over here. Now, with that being said, I am glad we ended up doing a couple of more unique projects throughout this video because those two houses that I built over here to try and add to the village, I'm probably going to end up tearing them down because if we fly over here, you can see that I actually have the outline for sort of like a compacted city housing area over here. So I've seen lots of people build cities this way, and I think this would add something really nice to this area. I think we'll make this whole area like a little housing district. It just makes sense the way we've built everything so far, but I'm going to try experimenting with this build style in the next video, so we'll save that for then. But I'm probably going to tear these down here and bring that waterfall down into a pond over here and just have like a park area. We'll have our housing district over here and maybe some over there as well. As you can see, I started stacking up the creeper farm. I want to get some more gunpowder going as well. Over here is the mountain where we put a bunch of lightning rods down to oxidize. This is just over by the barn house, just across the valley from the starter base and the central district over there. Eventually over here, I'm going to throw in a strip of medieval themed housing all the way along the edge of this mountain, wrapping all the way back around this way. And I'm going to turn it into sort of like a market district. I'm going to call it the cul-de-sac of commerce. That's right. I've already planned that far ahead. I got a name for it and everything. But if we head on over here, and I do apologize for the abrupt shader change. Bliss Shaders absolutely loves making it so you can't see 5 feet in front of your face in the mornings in Minecraft, so not sure why that's a feature, but I hate it. Anyways, if we come off to the side of the tower here, we can see that there is this massive area that we obviously deforested earlier on in the video, which is funny that we did that because we didn't use like any oak or birch wood throughout this entire project that we embarked upon in this video. But with that being said, we do have this massive area over here that we're gonna have to build on eventually because we're kind of running out of space over in the main area there. If we pull up our mini map, we can see that this area here is right on the shoreline of an ocean, and then we got this area over here that's right by a lake. So once I started expanding my mind beyond what we're going to be building in this area here, I started to think about what we're going to do over here. And pretty quickly, I started thinking about a port city over here with a bunch of docked pirate ships and big ships and stuff like that. And over here, I was thinking we could do a village that would support a fishing industry. Now, this coastal city over here, like I said before, we'd have a bunch of ships docked on the coast here. We'd have pretty massive docks and also canals indicating where ships should go, just to indicate like a bit of hustle and bustle. And the same thing with the town itself. We'll have tall buildings, wide roads, town centers, that kind of thing. And then over in this fishing village here, I want it to sort of be like a low-class economic zone. So I want the houses to look run down. I want it to feel like it's a bit grungy, like it's an area where people have struggled to live for a couple hundred years, sort of. Now, the reason I'm being so detailed in my explanation here is because thinking about where I'm going to be building and how I'm going to theme these areas and stuff like that has really got me into sort of the world building of this world. So for example, what I mean by world building is exactly actually what I was just talking about. But to be more specific, if I do end up making a lower class fishing village here, why is it lower class? Why do people struggle to live in this area, but not over in this area in this nice opulent city? Is this landmass part of a greater country? And if so, is there regional leadership that may very well be at odds with one another? Maybe there's age-old history between the leadership of the city and the leadership of the fishing village. For example, what if the people that make up the city and the people that make up the fishing village are two separate colonial peoples that settled here around the same time and that were allied with one another at one point, but the leadership of the fishing village was betrayed by the leadership of the city, which is what allowed the city to flourish economically while the fishing village sort of fell by the gutter. But as if that wasn't bad enough, it didn't stop there. No, the city leadership went on for hundreds of years after that to continue rubbing salt in the wound by doing things like limiting the fishing village's access to essential resources like fuel and medicine, and at times even things like food and fresh drinking water. Really messed up stuff. And all throughout this time, the city on its economic rise did everything it could to consolidate its power with the actual royal powers of the greater country, whatever we're gonna do with that. And now that we start talking about this, these land masses actually start really looking like countries to me. I didn't really look at the map through that lens before, but yeah, this is just a bunch of different countries, dude. So yeah, as you can see, I haven't really put much thought into this at all, obviously. But on a more serious note, I definitely have put a lot of thought into this, and you guys can expect to have some bits of lore here and there throughout the videos from here on out. So after absolutely dumping on you guys in terms of future plans for the world, I decided it was time to get started with some interior decoration. You guys are pretty much just gonna get time lapses for this part because my brain brain just stops braining when I'm recording and trying to do interiors. That being said, I actually ended up being quite happy with this interior. It's pretty basic, but over on the other side of the house that we're decorating right now, I decided to put a little kitchen area. I put down 2 barrels facing in toward one another, and then in between those barrels, I put a cauldron with some water. I built this nice little like overhang area that I think works well in this house. After that, I put down 2 composters over by the kitchen area. Now at this point, it definitely looks like things are starting to come together on this interior, but for some reason, I started to feel ashamed of my interior decoration skills during this clip, and that's why I put my head down here. So anyways, as the sun started to set, I realized we needed a bit more lighting in here, so I threw a slab over the window over on the other side of the house by the bed area, and I threw an end rod under that slab, and I did the same thing over by the kitchen as well. After this, I moved on to the tower, and I started by breaking out some of the flooring that we'd already put in and doing a spiral staircase all the way to the top. After that, starting from the top floor, I put in some banisters with some spruce trap doors as well as some black stone walls. You aren't actually able to fit between the walls and the trap doors on the edge, so works perfectly. Then I started on the real important part of the body of the windmill here, and that's getting every single floor ready for all the village traders that are going to go in here. I'm going to have a bunch of blacksmiths from the top floor to the bottom floor ready for 1-to-1 iron trade so that we actually have a consistent, reliable source of infinite emeralds. And so that's why you guys can see me making basically market stalls on every floor of the tower interior. And just like that, by the time all is said and done, this is roughly what we're working with. This isn't quite the end result, but at the top of the tower here, I decided to put in another floor because we have a lot of extra room to work with up there. Now, last but most certainly not least, we headed over to the chapel to start decorating the interior of that, and I struggled a little bit at first to get sort of like the seating arrangement set up, but then I realized that this is a church, so the pews in a church are usually quite close together, so I just ended up putting them right next to each other, touching one another. Then I put a couple of hanging lanterns just to light the place up a little bit. And even though we don't have much space to work with on the inside of the chapel, I did still run to a nearby village and grab a bell so that we could put it at the top of the tower. And with that, that sort of brings us to not just the end of interior decoration, but also the video. Really, I truly mean it when I say thank you very much to anybody that made it to this point of the video. It does mean a lot to me, as you could see throughout the course of this video. The editing and the pacing of it got progressively better throughout, but for me to achieve that result, it took about 2 to 3 times longer to make this video than it's taken me to make any of my other content. So please do let me know what you guys enjoy or prefer down below. Would you rather see one big build per episode that takes about 2 weeks to make, or would you rather see bigger projects like this that maybe take a month or 2 to put together? Because I gotta be honest with you, I thoroughly enjoyed making this video and actually making our main area feel super lived in. By the time I get this video edited and uploaded, I will probably have made the title something along the lines of I accidentally created the Minecraft world I always wanted. And I don't think there's a more applicable title to that, because really I mean it when I say that. I used to watch videos in like 2014, 2015. I click on a random video, say episode 8 of a random person's Let's Play series, and they'd be walking around this big, massive, expansive base, and it's just one of those worlds that looks like people have spent hundreds and hundreds of hours on. I used to want that experience so bad, and now it looks like we're starting to have it. I really can't even begin to express to you guys how much I learned in the process of making this video, and about halfway through the creation process of this video, I started to pick the brain of a pretty well-known YouTuber at the moment named It's Outlaw. He's a creator that does hardcore Minecraft content, and he's been doing really well for himself recently, and he has given me a ton of valuable information when I've been in his streams asking him questions about pacing and editing and his workflow. So very little chance you'll ever see this video, let alone this part of the video, but shout out to him. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, definitely be sure to. I'll leave it linked below. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did enjoy the video at any point, then definitely leave a like on the video. It takes you, the viewer, just 1 second to do, and it helps my content reach more people, so I would really appreciate it. If you're new around here, consider subscribing and turning notifications on for more content just like this. And with all that out of the way, I gotta get out of here because I got quite a bit of work to do for the next episode.